of it after this year. We try to get it so we could store some of that effluent water that we let go by us during December, you know, when we shut down the district. And there's several other details that we have to work out, but we'll be glad. This is sort of preliminary, that if you want us to put together a formal presentation with costing, we can do that for the next board meeting. You guys tell us if you want us to pursue it.
I think it's a good idea to pursue it. I mean, we bought this stuff, we got our money in it, and the reason for it is to preserve water. And at this juncture in time, we really need to preserve every drop. So the quicker you get it operational, and the better, as far as I'm concerned.
It would be a temporary system we set up until we got the funding to you know, reconstruct it to make it fully operational. So it would just be a stopgap.
When you do get that, it's going to take a while to do it anyway. So I mean, you're not going to do it overnight. So
right.
To redo it, but I'd put it into use, especially this coming year. For $250,000, that's chicken feed to get.
That's what we're needed the most right now.
Yeah.
And Omar's looking at the possibility of applying for a $2 million grant through the Bureau of Reclamation.
Yeah, but that money wouldn't, even if we get that grant, that money wouldn't be available in contractor place until next year.
Right.
Yeah,
so we would expend our own funds almost. We have some environmental stuff too that I don't think we can use grant money and move fast. If we're going to move fast and try to get this operational by the end of November, or at least the storage component, we can finish up the outlet works later. We need to do it with our own money, and it also it'll distract from some of our lining projects because we'll be using our crews. I don't think we have time to go out and bid it because it's just, I mean, you know, the water we're trying to capture is going to be there in December, right? Whenever we stop return flow irrigations.
And like the rest of the world, we've done a lot of that, and there's no law or anything wrong with using our own money.
Yeah. There's one caveat that we know that we have some environmental soil contamination. So once we charge one of the reservoirs that's already there, one of the ponds, we'll be using the existing ponds and try to refurbish them. They're not very deep, but we'll have to do water samples on it to make sure we don't have any, and I don't think we will. I think most of the contamination is not soluble, and but we will have to pull and run to the lab with some water samples. We did a whole bunch of sampling before, and we know where the hot spots are, and we won't be using any of the hot spots. So we just think it's just a diligence issue that we have to do. There's a slight chance that water would have to be vacated to the river, but that's what we were going to do with it anyways if we didn't capture it. So, and then we'd have to do some remediation on the soil, but I don't think that's the case. So the particular ponds we're going to be using came out clean, pretty clean.
Need a motion?
I have a question, Al. Regarding this, sounds like what I'm hearing here is we have a concurrent operation here. We have the grant operation, we're going to be chasing grant money, and then we're going to have a temporary ponding, or what you just mentioned. Maybe I didn't hear it, but what's the timeline? What are we looking, this year, next year?
Well, yeah, we would be trying to put the ponds in operation before December 1st. In other words, we would try to be capturing the water that we normally would bypass because we're shut down during the time period during the winter, or you know, the time that we get snow or cold weather that we can't use the water, which can extend into January. So yes, this would be an internal district operation without any grant money or federal money or state money, trying to just get this thing up and going as quick as possible.
And that's fine.
And let's make a full presentation on it so we have more details, but that would be at the next board meeting.
That'd be great, because I'm looking for the budget amount that you have for that out of our pocket, as well as what the grant when we anticipate in perfect world money from that grant.
Yeah, well, these would be two different projects. The grant, what we're doing here is sort of an intermediate, something that we're not going to recover a whole lot of it, other than we're going to recover water and put the water to use and use it until we get the full system built. So it's like a unique project that's separate from any of the grant stuff.
No, I understand that, but it's kind of connected in a way, because ultimately the pie in the sky or the grant money, whenever it happens, will happen, maybe not this year, but it'll happen whenever it's going to happen. And only the one that can give us a close information or an idea would be Omar.
Under the grant, we'll be tearing out the existing ponds. Right now, we're just trying to salvage the existing works and utilize the salvage work for
And
an
that's
intermediate
fine.
solution.
I understand that, Al, but I want to see the big picture. I want to see ultimately our grant, which is the big picture, and the patch, and how much it's gonna cost, and that's what I'm talking about, so.
Well, so we're estimating about 200 to 250,000. I'll make a presentation for this intermediate thing. And Omar, can you give Miguel a copy of the grant we submitted to the USDA so he has all that information?
Yes.
It has all the costing
The
and
only thing we
everything.
need to consider this morning is the 250,000. The rest of it, we don't even have a grant yet, so we will apply.
Right.
Yeah, well, we don't even know that right now that's a rough estimate, so we're gonna, if you guys can wait till next board meeting, there doesn't need any action, this was just information only.
Let me say that if you need to get started now for the $250,000, do it, because it needs to be done.
Correct.
And we want to make sure. And I mean, like it rained here, you're not aware of it, it like rained 3 inches at my farm last night. So those kind of things slow you down and you don't get things done. So the quicker the better by getting it done.
Okay.
250,000 is not a huge deal. It'll probably require modification to the budget, but when that time comes, we can do that. So anyway, and I was just thinking, you're not making a lot of friends in Hudspeth County when you do that.
Well, it was proposed, initially this reservoir was proposed in 1938, so.
I'm good at that.
So we're going back to whoever proposed it back then. I think it was reclamation, right, Bert?
So they won't be real happy with us.
And talk about budget, we'll be working on budget and have something to present to you all
Sure.
in the
Well,
September.
it's coming in the new budget, right? So
Yes.
then, yeah, it's not a modification, it'll be in the new budget. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. All right, do we need a motion to approve it?
Move to approve.
Or do we?
No, not at this time. So we'll bring it back to you at the next board meeting for a motion.
I didn't get you. All right, Judy.
Okay, and that's all I had. Got those two other items that I'd like to discuss in
In
closed.
closed session.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. District engineers report. Since you're the only one, you get to do it. Al, where'd you
I get
go?
to do it, yeah. Hey, we'll probably change the agenda a little bit to break this up, but Bert's, I'm gonna have to leave a little bit early from this board meeting, so Bert will take over the licensing part. I'll go real quickly. As you guys know, and obviously had rain downstream, we also had rain upstream, so this is a hydrograph of the water coming into Elephant Butte for the last month. And you can see 3 significant rainfall events that put additional water into the reservoir. On doing that, the allocation committee, because of the difficulties in terms of both districts being operational, has not allocated this water. So this water is there, and I got the board needs to give me direction today. We've had a lot of discussions about it. So as of what we have today, or yesterday, there's about 143,000 total storage. We still have allocations. Part of that's already allocated, so there's at least 22,000 that is our water that we're releasing to finish out what we said the season was. There's dead storage, evaporation, some credit water, and a few other things in there that we estimate someplace around 30,000. That leaves about 91,000 available, and my estimate, based on the performance of the river right now, that would make an allocation, a diversion allocation of about 30,000. Most of it, there being quite a bit going to EPCWID too. And another difficulty would go to Mexico. Robert, Mexico shut off, right?
They cut off on Monday at 5 o'clock.
So this would open up a lot of issues if we try to allocate this, but it's your guys' water. You guys tell me what you want to do, and I'll go to the committee and try to get it done. Right now, like I say, the result would be another 30,000 acre feet for this year, but it is very problematic in implementing it.
That's about that'd be over an acre foot for the existing demand right now, wouldn't it be, Robert?
Right.
It's almost 2.
No, I don't know if we can get 2, but
said.
The problem is we're gonna be paying probably, if we do that, remember, we have to pay for all the losses from Caballo, so it may not be that much water, Johnny. The rate we're losing water in New Mexico is pretty significant. So that would be the case if Mexico Mexico doesn't have a whole lot of effect on this if EPID comes back on board and goes online. I talked to Phil about it. They have no intention of of any water that they have now, they're gonna save for next year.
How much do you think you'll carry over for next year? Do you think that 30,000 will carry?
Yeah, the 30,000, if we allocate it and the reconciliation, which is what I'm proposing, that means we can't release it, it'll get allocated to us, but we'll just carry it over to the next year.
What do you think?
Larry? I think we should carry it over, don't you?
Yeah, I do too, but I was wondering from a farmer's aspect, maybe. I was
like,
kinda thinking that most everybody's pretty well programmed in to finish out this year the way that they are, so why change that?
yeah, I'll change it out.
And it'd be nice to have something at least to start with next year, maybe all.
Yeah, maybe all you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, we forego that and try to utilize it next year, because this year's almost done anyways.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a tough year, end of August, September, especially for us non-farmers,
For the pecans, and pecan farmers are pretty well through, so which there's not much of that, so.
yeah.
But, I think we ought to just save it myself. Do you need board action on that, Al, or?
No, I don't need, right now the committee is not intending to make an allocation, so unless you want me to go ask them, or try to get an allocation made, I'm just one vote. Reclamation makes allocation, but we've tried to make it unanimous. If the two districts agree to make an allocation, then typically Reclamation will do that. So if you want to leave it as status quo, which we'll just lock in on the last allocation, then I'll recalculate what our new allocation will be in December. Based on this amount of water in the reservoir.
Yeah, that and you'll waste a lot more of it than you might next year whenever we come on the river at the same time. I think just keep it.
I agree with you,
George. Mike?
Sounds good, man.
Okay. All right. You better be there next year, Al. I remember 30,000.
I talked to our new commissioner and he assures me that it will be there.
Okay. Yeah. I like assurances. A projected assurance. Those are the best kind. All right.
Okay. All right, thanks. Do you have any other questions for me? I'm gonna apologize. I'm traveling today, so I'm gonna head to the airport.
Thanks, Al.
I guess.
All right, thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Where are you going, to Sacramento?
Yeah, I like it so much there that I want to go. I'm thinking about moving.
Well, I can tell you enjoyed it.
You guys can talk about that in closed session, okay, Maria?
Got it.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
He just gave her permission to talk about it.
All right. Pedro, you're on.
Pete.
Morning. Okay. Got a very small presentation. There's just a lot of cleanup this past month, a lot of turnout repairs, and we've been doing a lot of ditch bank repairs also. Here's just a picture of the reservoir, where we're starting to secure the reservoir. Hunting season starts on September 1st. So I've contacted the game warden, and we have been installing no hunting signs here in the whole 300 acres. And we're blocking off all the entrances to the yard. This year should be blocked off hopefully by tomorrow. The poles were stabbed yesterday, and this is one of the main entrances that'll give you access to this yard. Okay, here's some of the repairs that we're doing on the roof side. We're actually finishing up. This is the section that we concrete lined. What we're doing now is we're just raising the banks up to where it's above the concrete. try to save that concrete from getting damaged. And you just see a couple pictures of what it's looking like after we're completed with it. And this is for rest. We're going up to the Partidor, so you can see we're pretty close there. Then we'll start on the opposite bank. The opposite bank will be a lot easier because we got plenty of dirt that we can roll over with a grader to accomplish the same thing. And then some of the digging that we're doing on the riverside, removing all these berms. Robert was having a lot of trouble getting water through these canals, so there's the after picture after it's been removed, and then we just went ahead and went down the riverside all the way to the Hanson heading.
Well, if we ever get that, it'll totally cement line, it'll make
Oh,
a
yes.
huge difference.
Oh, yes. And then again, this here is some of the construction rock that we had left behind at Montoya. This is another project that we completed here this past June or April. And so we're just kind of cleaning everything up. I've had some calls on the constituents here that they'd like to walk through here, and it's a little difficult with that construction rock. So all the construction rock has been removed and has been cleaned up. So
Life is tough.
We'll be sure to make it where it's nice. That's our main charge.
yeah, there you go. And then some of our drains, these are outside of the city limits. And some of the cleanup that we're doing on the drains. See how much room we got here now on this, by the border wall there to do our maintenance. This is almost there by the Fabian's yard. And you can see the pictures of what it's looking like after we're getting completed with it. This one here is the wasteway to the branch A. This section here, last year, was it that was, the branch A was sultry? Last year, right?
Last year.
So we had to reroute the wasteway, and so we've kind of been working around Robert's schedule. Anytime the small tracks water, we gotta get out. Then they finish water, we get back in there. So it's taking a while, but we'll be pouring concrete today. All the head walls and manholes are done. So we'll be pouring today, and after that, it's just basically cleaning up and making sure everything's got enough cover on it. There's the length of the wasteway. The mess of drain is right back where you see that horse trailer down there. And then some of our drains within the city of El Paso, and some of the work that's gone into that. So we kind of backed off on these drains when we're doing the riverside. I kind of had to pull all my resources to the riverside, but we've got all our manpower back on the drains. And trying to do a little catch up on some of the washouts with these rains has been ridiculous. These are all before and after pictures.
Where's that at?
Which one there?
These pictures.
They're all throughout the city of El Paso, yes, up
Okay.
from the west side all the way down here to
Okay.
Loop 375. Like this one here is down here by Loop 375.
Gopher home?
Yeah, well, actually, it was rainwater that, because that field didn't really need farm anymore, so it's rainwater that just kind of washed in. It's right there by Inglewood. That's the west side. Just some project that we've got going, me and Lamar are gonna go up there and take some shots on the reservoir, hopefully by tomorrow, so we can have an idea of what needs to be done there. Other than that, that's all I got. Any questions from me?
Keep up the good work, Pete.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Water Master. You're on.
Thanks.
watering so far this year compared to last year has been deep already, you know, because we had less water, but last year at this time of the year, we watered 188,000 compared to this year, it's 86,000, so it's been poquito. But the main concern this year has been trying to make it to the 25th of August. And I think we'll make it. I was talking to you this morning. I had Jerry from the USBR yesterday send me some numbers for Caballo, more or less what we've been releasing. So we know that for the month of June, we used 35,000 and we had 86,000 left on our allotment. So I kind of got with Jerry and said, give me some numbers for Caballo, just preliminary numbers, and he got to me last night. Found out that because we're releasing from Caballo, so he gave me the numbers that subtracted Mexico away from it. So we used in July 44,200, and we got left 42,000 to use in August. So the way we're going right now,
With the rains, you're not able to use that.
well, believe it or not, we'll get the 42,000 the way we're using our water still. Hopefully with this kind of rains that we got now, and talking to the farmers this morning, I'm talking to them that don't back off, because what you're gonna do is you're just gonna start getting into the end of
It
August.
rained 3 inches out of
Yeah.
that place last.
So what we're gonna do right now, Johnny, is try to back off for
No, you can only do whatever.
a couple of days, and maybe, but I'm trying to tell Chewy, if we have a little extra water, instead of cutting off the 25th, the longer we stay within, or not go over, try to, maybe we have to, can we go to the 26th or 27th?
Extend it a little.
Yeah, extend it a little. The one that I'm really real careful with is the Unit 6 and the 7, because, once we cut off, I mean, Unit 6 within a day and a half, it's gone. So, come Monday, it's still, we still
They
got,
blame that on George up there.
yeah, it's all George's fault.
He's responsible for Upper Valley.
It's all George. And there's Monday, it's the last order date, and we're telling everybody to be ready by Tuesday. And I'm still having problems with farmers. They said, okay, I'll take it to 25th. They said, no, guys, the 17th, you gotta be ready. As soon as we get through with everybody, we're shutting down the unit. We can't let you come in here and want to cut your hay on the 17th and want it on the 25th, because we're not gonna make it, you know. I had a couple of guys in Unit 7 that requested water on the 27th. I said, guys, we're gonna cut off the 25th. You're not gonna get water on the 27th. So that's the little problem. And then this rain is not gonna make it any easier, but we'll work it. But still, the goal is to still cut off on the 25th, and still thinking the 25th. I was telling Chewy, we'll be over maybe 500 or 600 feet over our allocation, but it's not gonna be too bad. We need to go over like some other people. But we're doing good. We're gonna be making it, and then we got the return flow, and with this rain, I think the 1st of August or September is gonna make it a little difficult, but we'll do like we always do. We go to 2 inches and we'll plan it out like we always do. And fall where it falls.
You plan to run the well or not, Robert?
Once we cut off, Larry, no.
No.
We might, in a sense, the first part of September, maybe run it for a week, but, you know, not that much longer.
And that's any good, it disappears.
Yeah. But it does help, like, Johnny,
When they have water, yeah.
it does pump out like 70 CFS, and we can get, but, you know, we don't know what's gonna do, because right now they're talking about rain the next
But
4
70
days.
CFS in our Lake Riverside, it didn't go very far.
It goes far. You'd be surprised what we can do, a little bit of choritos, you know, a little bit of water. And that's what we've been doing, because every time,
Oh, yeah, you gotta use the best you can, if there's any benefit, use it.
even right now, the river's still taking 300 feet a day. And it's a lot of water it's taking. It's been,
Don't worry, it'll get pumped out in the upper valleys.
yeah, because,
Somebody will use it.
well, you know, down in the river, if you look at the river, like on Monday, it'll take a little dip. And like on Thursday, it'll come back up. It's like, they start pumping Monday and they stop on Thursday. And that's just what it does, so, and,
We need Robert to tell the judge that, Maria.
no.
That's direct evidence.
I know.
No, you got the limited to look at it, you know, you'll see
I'm
it.
just kidding.
But, it worked out, and then, every time we wanted to do fire up the wells here in the district, and I told people, fire them up, no more fire them up, it rains. So, we had to cut them out. Right now, we got them out, we haven't used them a lot, maybe one time we used them for about 2 weeks, but, and then it rains, and then it stops, but that's it. We're still planning on the 25th.
Okay, Robert, good job, man.
That's it.
Got the toughest job in all of the world for it.
I don't know.
Did a good job with it. I'm not trying to make you feel better, I'm just making a mistake. Okay. Number 13, 11 and 12, no action. 13, application for license for the use of district real property. Bert, you're on.
Okay, yeah, we've had quite a few licenses requests come in, and from meetings that we've had, there's gonna be quite a few more coming in, mainly from fiber optic companies that are trying to get the district wired.
Those fiber optic deals are all the same, really, it's just different locations.
Correct, correct. And I think there's gonna be.
Are they all by Verizon?
No, that's a different, Transtelco,
Transtelco, yes. And then-
whoever that is.
And Bert, you get the state of incorporation? In other words, if you have a Delaware corporation,
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, we've looked at their ability to do business in Texas on all
yeah,
of these.
yeah, that's great.
Okay. Yeah, the first one is from Inglewood Properties. They want to do a crossing on the one that had on main lateral. And it's just to get from one side of the lateral to the other. They own both sides of the canal there, so they're just trying to access. And then the rest of them, there's 9 of them, for Transtelco, for fiber optic crossings at various locations. Most of them are aerial. There's a couple of them that are underground.
I had a question on that first one there. I think probably I'm way behind remembering what we did, but they're talking about building a constructive box culvert. And did we not want to have free-span bridges? Won't those things really cause us problems as far
Well,
as water flows and stuff?
Yeah, if the box culvert, if it's the right size, Burton and
We've
Al
gone to
have
that,
looked at.
I remember us making, some of them build $200,000 bridges a long time back.
Yeah, and we're, what we're doing now also is we're recommending that they go to Job and look at those free-span bridges that he's building.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I thought at one point in time, because the more of these things you put in, the more restrictions you have, even if they're properly designed, there's potential where a free span you don't have.
On this one in particular, Jay started working it and Al's approved it and Bert's taken it over.
Right.
It's a water user, it's one of our constituents.
Correct.
And-
Well, it's all right. I had that question because I was like, you just keep building box culverts, you just have all kinds of potential for
Yeah.
blockages, so.
Yeah, we're not, unless it's a box culvert that goes from one bank to the other, we're not letting them put in 2 where
Right.
it'll have restrictions in the
I
center of
just had
the.
that question. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. Yeah, we're looking at not having anything that's got a section in the middle that might obstruct the flow or catch trash or anything like that. So basically, it is a free span type of situation. But Joey is correct, like, we're looking at a couple of crossings with the city of Socorro on the Franklin, at Foley Road and Rio Vista.
And really,
And we're going back and forth with them on not having box culverts and recommending that they do a free span bridge
For roads.
using a precast, pre-stressed type of a beam that Joe Concrete is manufacturing.
I think where would you normally handle this, Bert, and it's your first time doing it, like 13A, we usually deal with that one, and go ahead and approve it or disapprove it, whether take action on it, I guess better said. And then from then on, the rest of them, 31, 32, all the way down to 39 is basically the same. So once you explain that, then we can take action on that. So let's take action on 13A.
Okay,
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. I go back to money. How much are we gonna get for this license? What's it worth it to the district? In other words, the cost and
okay,
so on.
the license fees are dependent upon how much square feet that they use of the district right of way. On this first one, since it's a water user, we're charging them 10 cents an acre, a square foot per year for 25 years. So,
I'm just curious, I don't want to put you on the spot, but whenever we go through the discussions of licensing and so forth, the per square foot, the total, how much per year? In other words, so I could get a feel for it.
right.
From a revenue side, since we're not having much water in the next year, it seems like, I like to think that we're gonna make money off of your department, maybe. I don't know, maybe not much, but whatever that might be, what that
All the
means in the
licenses
revenue.
I've seen, since I've started, there is quite a bit of money coming in.
Yeah.
So,
People are our main interest.
case in point, so if we're making, and I'm not trying to make a killing, I just wanna survive and establish that your department is very important, in addition to the grants and everything that we're doing, and put you in the spot that, hey, you make a difference. And every time you go in there and give us a page full of applications, to me, it equates to money, revenue, and Mary can start doing some things with her QuickBooks or whatever, and then we're all happy. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, but.
Okay, well, yeah, the revenue that's been collected on this first one, since it is a water user, it is 10 cents per
That's all
square
said, we
foot
have said.
per year for 25 years.
Move to approve?
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve application 2285. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, Bert, the application 3031 all the way through 3039 is really basically the same stuff.
Exactly.
We got aerial and underground in this next one?
Yeah, this,
Yeah, both kinds.
most of them are aerial, and there's a couple that are underground.
Is there a difference, will we charge underground or aerial?
No, it's just on the footprint that
The same thing?
they use of the easement. And on the-
And when they can do the work, Larry, we don't let them do and if it's underground, they can't start until after irrigation season, if we don't have water in the canal.
Well, look, the only function of this district is to provide irrigation water. It's not to provide public roadways or public improvements of any kind. So you're not locked in. You can charge one rate on one project if you choose to, and a different rate on the next project if you choose to. See,
In other words, don't charge the same thing every time?
if you want to, sure, you got the prerogative, that's my point.
It depends on what it is. I mean, if it's some big, huge deal that's going in, we all, and for industrial use or private use or something of that nature, then we always look at it in a different deal. If it's
Right,
all these
that's
kind of things here is just kind of perfunctory that we have a specific charge.
Exactly.
That's just kind of.
And I believe that all these are to feed into the schools,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We could get our name in the paper by saying no.
Well, see, Bert,
So under those considerations, no.
under Texas law, the water they get from us has two different charge bases. One is for land area and the other is for the water used. And so you have to distinguish what you've got in each situation.
Okay.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve applications 3031 through 3039?
So moved.
Larry makes the motion.
Second.
George seconds. All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Who's gonna handle this? Is Bert gonna handle this too, Judy?
Yes, on item 14.
Yeah.
What schools does this function? What school school does this support, since we talked about schools?
But just curious, the Transdelco? The ones you just approved?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're feeding, different schools along the line, starting from Loop 375, and then working its way,
Probably Socorro District.
Isleta
and
I
Socorro.
have a whole spreadsheet of all the schools. As a matter of fact, this week they're bringing in 19 more applications from Trout.
I'd like to get that spreadsheet, if that's okay
Okay.
with you, just
I can share
get
it.
a feel for the influx of applications that are coming in.
and then we have a different company that Bert and I just visited with that are going to bring in also broadband all the way to Tornillo.
It's charters,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Charter is the parent or umbrella company for Spectrum.
Right, and it's off these special earmarks that the government has done to expand broadband into the rural areas
That's interesting.
and provide not only for schools, but provide for the public.
So get ready, there's gonna be a lot of money spent by the federal government, that's.
Yes.
both, right?
What's new?
Yeah, just to be clear though, on the Spectrum ones, it's still a commercial operation. You're gonna provide broadband, but it will still at a cost to the customer.
Oh, yeah, it's a commercial. Okay. 14A. 14B, basically the same sort of a deal.
And these are lands that they want to reclassify as irrigable land, and it's just small. The first one, A, is 0.31 acres, and the second one is 0.61 acres. And they want to reclassify them where they can, into irrigable land.
Where did the water go? Where was, they obviously had water before. What happened to the ones before?
Mr. Stubbs, according to Bureau records, the Bureau removed them at the customer's request, or the property owner's request.
The Bureau removed
Bureau
the
reclamation, yes.
customer request.
And now we have the property owner requesting to get the water rights back.
And before we bring them to you, there's several things that we've done. We've sent our people to
Yes,
investigate, to look at the land, and make sure that there's a community ditch or a canal
Yes.
that can deliver the water, and
Yes.
then we bring them to you all to be reclassified.
And we have,
Well, of course, we've got a limit. We can't exceed 69,010 acres total, no matter
Yes.
what.
We're still
And
under.
and what we've been trying to do, we've been beneath that limit for a number of years. We've been trying just to spot fill in to the
Right.
69,010 acres.
Right, and we're aware of that.
Yes.
And Rose keeps very good track, along with
Yes.
Bert, on what we have, what to work with.
Yeah, I
how
know
much do
those
we
are
have
good
that's
jobs.
unassigned? land,
We're short 124 acres
At
from
one
the
time it's 400
6910.
and something.
Yes,
Right, right.
We're short one.
How much, you say 100?
about 124 acres.
Okay, so we still have plenty.
Yes.
I don't have a problem doing it. If I have a problem with the two, they're both basically the same.
Yes.
We can approve them.
They weren't sold to the PSB, or
No, sir,
not?
no. There's the water rights were removed, some other properties
It
classified
probably will
as
be, yeah.
without water rights, now we're changing it back to
It's
special
all
rights.
right. The water gets you, and the taxes you pay. for
Move to approve if that's,
Okay, entertain a motion to approve application 3051 and 3052. Miguel makes a motion, there a second?
Second.
Larry seconds, all in favor say aye, all opposed same sign. Motion carries. Okay, the next thing that we have to do, 15, no action. 16, let's go into closed session, and before we do that, let's take a short break.